At dawn on March 3, 1943, the Bismarck Sea appeared calm. 8 Japanese transports moved in disciplined formation, screened by 8 destroyers. They believed the skies belonged to them. But in less than 15 minutes, this entire fleet would be erased. Not by massive battleships, but by a weapon the Japanese had never seen in their handbooks. Monsters screaming across the waves, with noses packed with heavy machine guns. Today, we tell the story of the B-25 Mitchell, the plane that sawed the Japanese fleet in half and redefined the Pacific War forever. By early 1943, the Allies in New Guinea were pushed to the brink. Japan was winning the war of supply, delivering thousands of troops and tons of cargo through their Maru convoys. At the time, American military doctrine was clear. To sink a ship, you bomb from 20,000 feet. But there was a deadly problem. Moving ships are small targets from 4 miles up. The result? Tons of bombs falling harmlessly into the ocean. The hit rate was less than 1%. The Japanese began to mock the U.S. Army Air Forces, calling them the men who throw pebbles from the clouds. Without a change, the entire campaign would fail. In the middle of this failure, a legendary figure emerged, Paul Irving Gunn, known to everyone as Pappy. He wasn't a theorist in a suit. He was a mechanic with a single obsession: finding a way to kill ships. Pappy Gunn realized that if you want to sink a ship, you have to get close. Extremely close. He chose the B-25 Mitchell as his platform, but he performed a modification that horrified the engineers back in Washington. He tore out the glass bombardier nose. In its place, he crammed 8 .50 caliber machine guns. Imagine 8 heavy machine guns firing simultaneously. The recoil was so violent, it could almost stop the 15-ton aircraft in midair. Pappy had to reinforce the entire airframe just so the plane wouldn't be ripped apart by its own firepower. But guns were only half the story. To sink a 1,000-ton ship, you need bombs. And this is where skip bombing was born. The tactic sounded suicidal. Pilots had to fly at an altitude of only 50 feet, lower than the masts of the enemy ships. At 250 miles per hour, a single mistake meant slamming into the ocean. At 1,500 yards, the pilot opened fire. A hail of lead swept the decks, cutting down anti-aircraft gunners. Once the ship was neutralized, the bomb was released. It didn't fall. It skipped across the water like a stone, slamming directly into the hull and exploding below the waterline. March 3, 1943. The Japanese convoy was sighted. The B-25 pilots were ready. The Japanese sailors were looking up, expecting high-altitude bombers. They were completely blindsided when the B-25s appeared on the horizon, hugging the waves like ghosts. One pilot later recalled, "We were so low, we could see the terror on the faces of the Japanese sailors on deck." The guns roared. Steel tore through steel. Japanese destroyers tried to maneuver, but it was useless. Bombs skipped up, pierced the hulls, and detonated in the engine rooms. In 15 minutes of absolute chaos, the Bismarck Sea became a burning graveyard. 8 transports and 4 destroyers were gone. The Japanese supply line to New Guinea was severed forever. After that battle, Japan never risked a daylight convoy again. The victory at the Bismarck Sea changed the Pacific theater and saved the lives of tens of thousands of Allied soldiers. The story of the B-25 and Pappy gun isn't just about a weapon, it's a lesson in resilience and adaptation. When official doctrine failed, the creativity and courage of men in the field rewrote history. The strafing B-25s remain a symbol of a simple truth. If there is no way forward, you make one. Thank you for joining Resiliently. If you enjoyed this journey into military history, hit like and subscribe for more stories of human endurance and legendary battles. I'm your narrator, and this is the legacy of heroes. Goodbye.